We've talked about this several times on the air, and that is, remember, obviously, the train derailment, right?
Yeah.
Or the train derailments, I should say, right? Explosions at this factory, a police officer dying, and now all of a sudden we're going to get to this, with Director Flanagan, that is, we have child labor all of a sudden coming back. And one of the things that, we see, or at least, here's from the 30,000-foot view, is that something happens, what's the penalty, right? So here, let's go to you, Director. What happens? So what is the penalty?
Sure. So, OSHA, federal OSHA in Illinois inspects and enforces on private sector workplaces. Department of Labor, Illinois Department of Labor, we inspect and enforce on state and local workplaces, right? And so that is your police, your fire,
Sure.
road and construction workers,
Yeah.
water, sanitation, those are high hazard industries.
Yep.
And we will issue an investigation. We'll start an investigation when we see something. One of the heaviest things I do as director is send a letter to a family that's lost someone.
Yeah.
Like these firefighters, we sent those letters last week to say, we're so sorry for your loss. We're here for you. We're also going to be reaching out and investigating. We're going to be talking to witnesses. Those interviews are happening next week for those.
So what are what are the penalties? Like if you find that it was, gross negligence or they weren't complying with, X, Y, and Z safety requirement, what are the penalties?
So there are monetary penalties on a sliding scale, right, that get more severe as the violations
So there's
get
dollars
more
and
severe.
cents.
There is dollars and cents, and there's also, what lawyers would think of as equitable relief, right?
Okay.
We want to see this policy change. We want to see that you've done this training. We're going to come back in 3 months. We're going to come back in 6 months, and we do those repeat inspections.
Yep.
To say what's in place, what's changed, how is your training and your procedures changed. That's a lot of our Illinois OSHA enforcement folks really stress those policies and procedures because in an emergency situation, it's like military or anything else, right? You have to have that training. You have to been through those drills a million times
You
to
don't learn on the
actually
fly.
in that moment be able to.
You shouldn't be on the job training safety.
Pull out the Safety for Dummies book. Hang on a second. Right.
But I have a question, and then maybe Pat, you can chime in on this as well. If there's, let's say, you have a firefighter who's unfortunately passed away, and if you find that there's a violation, who gets fined? What's the violation? Where does it go?
For our enforcement, it goes to the public body, that employer, right? It's an employer's responsibility to provide a safe workplace.
So Pat, so the employer then is what? The fire department?
Yeah, typically it's a local unit of government, a municipality, city, village,
Yeah.
fire protection district.
Right, and they're going to pay that fine.
Yes.
Yeah, and we utilize this opportunity to be able to, not only when accidents happen, but firefighters identifying things at work that appear unsafe before an accident happens, and IDOL will look into that as well to prevent accidents.
It's a really good point. I want to hold you on that thought for a second, but back to this notion of penalties, right? I understand in the private sector, you're a contractor, you get hit monetarily, that comes off your bottom line. You're a public sector, department, municipality, et cetera, that's taxpayer dollars.
Right.
Yeah, and typically property taxes when it's a local unit of government.
So, whoop-de-doo. You understand?
No, absolutely. But that's the point in terms of trying to be preventative, to be able to identify these things. And what I found is the line firefighters, the ones on the ground, the ones going into the buildings to help people, are the ones that are best prepared and situated to identify the problems and work with IDOL.
Sure. Just
them.
like I'm Ken Edwards. You just watched the highlight from the Workers Mic. Check out the full episode on our YouTube channel and tune in on Sunday mornings between 8 and 9 on 720 WGN.